Hi, my name is Eden Cupid, and you're watching Two Mics Up.
Double O 07.
What's happening, everybody? It's your man Damon Cunningham, aka Dame DNYDC. You know what time it is? It's Monday night. Brand new episode of Two Mics Up. And tonight I'm really eager and excited because one, we're going up to the Great North to visit our friends and family up there. Two, tonight's guest, man, how do I even start? I guess the word is captivating. She's a captivating talent with a presence that really lights up the screen. She has a versatility, if you will, that spans, from heartfelt drama to some sparkling comedy. And it's really kind of for us here, at least in our home, it's really becoming a name that you really want to watch out for in the world of acting. Her performances have marked, some real authenticity, some emotional depth. Like I can go, can you guys kind of tell? Like we here, Two Mics Up, we are big fans, and I can go on and on and on. But I'm going to stop, and I'm going to ask you all to join me as I bring on the other guest on the other mic tonight, the incredibly talented and the lovely Eden Cupid. Eden, how you doing this
Hi,
evening? How you doing?
how are you guys? Thanks so much for having me. That was
Hey,
such a lovely intro. Oh my gosh.
listen. I cannot tell you how. First of all, I'm honored to have you. My wife and I, we're big fans of yours. We really had an opportunity to watch some of your work and really watch you grow as an artist. But before we get to that part, Eden, I
Mhm.
have to start at the beginning. Like,
Okay.
take a moment if you can. Like, really tell us who Eden Cupid is and what inspired you to get into the entertainment industry.
Okay. Ooh, that's a loaded question that I never had before. Okay, Eden Cupid. She is a high strung theater kid. She's a bug lover. She really enjoys the arts because her parents always allowed her to explore without having any type of limitations or making me feel like it wasn't going to work out. I've had the utmost support from all my family and friends, which has really given me the courage to partake in this industry because it really is a
Mm.
partaking. Um, and what really made me get into acting would probably be my parents. My mom and my dad are both very creative individuals themselves.
Okay.
My dad worked in fashion and design, so he made clothes, and he was also an acrylic painter, or he is, he
Oh,
still paints
wow.
and does.
Wow.
My mom, yeah, it was in television. She made television for the blind, the visually impaired, which was a really
Oh,
awesome
wow.
thing for her. And she was also a hairdresser. So I've kind of had arts and creatives flowing in and out of my life my entire
Well,
existence. Really know if I could exist without it because it was my safe space and a really awesome place for me to be myself without having to mask or feel like I was or I needed to kind of like put on this persona that wasn't entirely mine. I found my real like I guess ability to just have fun and enjoy who I was to the core in arts.
and that's such a beautiful thing. And one is great, one being a creative and having creative, parents and things. But like what I see just listening to you and watching you talk, like that's the authenticity that I'm talking about. But it makes me want to ask you because you said a part like it allows you. Is it really that tough? And I know there's a little bit of an age difference, but has it become that tough nowadays for young men and women, especially acting, to really show up and shine and be accepted for
Mhm.
their authentic self? And was that a struggle for you at times outside of your home and dealing with maybe auditions or different things like that?
Actually, yeah, honestly, I would say that definitely kind of has tracked in my journey through the industry of
Mm,
feeling a bit um yeah, not quite authentic with my auditions or just I don't feel like I've got my heart in it. I've actually
mm,
really struggled throughout the years, especially through my early preteens. I would say from around the age of like 14, 15 into my end of teens, 18, 19. I struggled a lot with confidence. And I think it was
Mm.
because I am an overthinker. I get really in my head and I start to really doubt and downplay my abilities just because, as you grow older, and you meet new people in the industry and you
Mhm.
have new experiences, you're kind of opening up to a wider world that might not have seemed as big as it once was when you were younger. And I think that can kind of maybe hit on some discouraging surfaces for people because you don't really know what you have to offer all the
Right.
time. Now
Yeah.
you definitely have something. I always say, no matter who you are, what you do, please come out and give us what you got because the industry could always use more talent, new talent,
That's true.
and there's always uniqueness in everybody. So there really is
Yeah.
never going to be a double of somebody. Now, for myself, I definitely went through a lot of ups and downs regarding finding my own, I guess you could say, tone
Yeah.
or yeah, our authenticity. I think that there was a lot of inspirations that I grew up with, people who I really wanted to kind of like incorporate into my style or bounce
Mm.
off of and just I guess imitate. But
Yeah.
I kind of learned throughout my career that there is nothing worse than honestly imitating somebody who you just don't have all of,
Mm.
you're just
I
really
understand.
them, you know?
Yeah, you can't be a replicate of something else. You
You're
have to be your true authentic self.
And that kind of led me into so many different pathways of finding who I was, but also just the confidence in being stable in what I bring
Hmm.
to the table. I think that I've gotten so much better at being like, hey, you know what? That wasn't meant for me. I don't want
Yeah.
anything that doesn't want me. So honestly, thank you for the opportunity, but we move on.
Yeah.
And whatever is next down the chute, I'm so ready for and I'm so prepared for. But next time, I'm gonna bring even more of myself to the
I
role because
love
I'm
that.
Eden, and I think that I'm so happy with how far I've come with getting confident in my own abilities because I really wouldn't want to be anybody else but me, even though I have my aspirations and my inspirations.
Hey, listen, I totally hear you, but I really wanted to ask you because I find that today's world or society that we live in, I don't want to say sensitive. We're touched by so many different things that I didn't have in my era, and
Mhm.
it just seems like the social media and all of these different things really attack and make a person feel more vulnerable,
Mhm.
maybe than they ever have. But I like how you said you were younger then, and now as you've matured, you find and you settle into your space, right?
Yeah.
And I look at that, like when I look at you, like for example, the Umbrella Academy,
Mhm.
and that whole experience where you played a younger Allison in the Umbrella Academy, a show that's really, in my opinion, it's known for it was very complex characters.
Yeah.
And let's keep it real, like it was some real wow, some real wild stuff. It was
Yeah.
wild. It was mad wild. But what was that like for you? Kind of stepping into that series that was, had a, like, I don't want to say a co-founder, but had a following. And how did you approach capturing Allison's, that essence of her at that young age?
Well, I do remember it's really weird because honestly, every time that I step into the audition room, I like to just kind of once I'm out, it's gone, and I just move on to the ones being needed. But I do remember that audition, like honestly, to a T. I remember I went in and I just got really, really excited at the opportunity to like show myself for like the first time. I'd just gotten like my agent and I would
Wow.
just kind of started my way in the union
Mhm.
area and just kind of like making myself known, getting out there. And I remember I just had really no care in the world as to self-consciousness or what I was going to do. I just wanted to play. I wanted to get in
Mm.
there, and I read Allison as a very fun character. She's spunky and she has attitude and she has this insanely great power that can change the course of the
Yeah.
universe as we know it and
Yep.
everything that we know in it. And I just took that as honestly such a large leeway to just play. And I think I went in there and as a child actor, I took the script for what it was and I was acting with other children. So I was just like all of us just kind of are happy to be here. We don't really I want to say care if we get
Therefore,
the part. I
right.
care, but I also, at the end of the day, I wasn't gonna like cry and like chew off my nails if I didn't. But I think I was just more so happy to be there, and that really let my guards down. And getting into character for Allison, getting to talk to Emmy Raver Lampman was such a wonderful experience. She's such a talent, and getting to play her younger version was honestly just any more than I could ever ask for. But the way that she played her character, the older version of Allison, I just kind of really watched her, and I watched the way in which she like really put all of her emotion into her. She is a very complex character, not just within herself and her own experiences with her family, her husband, her daughter, but with her actual siblings. That was
Wow.
a very complex thing, and I think I just really wanted to hone in on the complex relationships between my siblings because I was with them the most. They were
Most right.
I filmed everything with those. So, yeah, I think I took a lot of my own experience as a younger sibling into the role. I think having an older sister has taught me so much about how to come into a relationship with other people, especially playing a sibling to another person. So that was really an awesome type of like homework that I did. And also just those kids are so awesome at what they do that it was almost kind of just easy to let yourself go. And I never really let myself get hung up on this is not what she would do. This is not the way that Allison would say this. I think every scene I came into it kind of differently, wanting to
Yeah.
show those layers of Allison in which
Mm-hmm.
she can be, she can be a very powerful
Powerful. Yep.
also struggles with some things that
Yep.
are internal and she can't always show up and show out, but she
Yep.
tries her absolute best in every way that she can. Sometimes she doesn't make great decisions, but other times I think she always has the best interest in mind
Intent.
for everyone else.
So
So
true.
I
So
think
true.
for me, that was a really like core thing that I wanted to hone in on was that at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that my family stays sane and also together. Um,
Yeah.
I also don't want them to go off and do things that will, particularly hurt others. And yeah, just kind of playing off of all of those different characters that definitely had a lot of sway in the way that I would react. So
You did a great job. Like that was it was really outstanding. You know, just in my mind flashing back to it. When watching it, but then there was time you transitioned to, into what was the other one? I was on tip. Exploring, like you were kind of in Falling Water was the one. It was kind of like a dream world type
yeah.
thing. Yeah. So
Oh,
like, what was that? Was it Amelia was the character in the series, and it was
mhm.
like kind of like these real. It was kind of blurred lines again. Another one that was, I don't want to say weird, but it's like you're blurring lines between dreams and reality. If I'm correct in saying, and like, how was that different for you from Umbrella Academy? That was
Ooh,
like a whole new thing.
that was. I did that actually before Umbrella Academy, and
Oh,
that was also really awesome. Um, I oh my god, that was so long ago. It was really long that. But it was so much fun. I think it was really my first introduction to like fantasy genre
hmm
and
hmm
like playing with the mind and all of those things. And I definitely think that kind of helped going into the audition for Umbrella Academy because
Okay.
there are some dream-like scenes and scenarios in that show as well.
True. True.
And I kind of had the, I guess, not the background, but I had a little bit of play with understanding how one would react when something is not actually real, how one would
Mm,
react when they think something is real, but they're kind of
right.
suspicious of the scenario. Um, and I think that the two of them were really awesome to do kind of back to back because it was a really great transition for me, kind of going from one fantasy to the next fantasy.
Right.
It made me a lot more like excited to kind of just be in the imagination of it all. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome. And then, like I said, I want to say, like, just like thinking about it in my head, like going full circle with you in your career, and then it's not over. I mean, you really, we won't put that, we won't put that match on that gas and
Oh,
keep it
thank
going, right? We want to keep it burning. We want to keep it bright.
I do.
But you went into another film, uh, in the end, the end of sex, uh,
Mhm,
which is a little bit more mature of a
mhm.
of a theme for you, and you know if I want to say this correctly, the film was really about relationships, right? And
Yeah.
being vulnerable, I guess is the word. Like how did so going from the first two to a little bit more of a mature theme, and I mean now you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
You know, how did you prepare? Like mentally, were you in a different space to prepare? With like the intimacy and the emotional aspects of the film.
I think so. I mean, I definitely got to have some one-on-one time with Emily Hampshire, and that was
Hmm.
awesome. That was
Hmm.
really, like, great to kind of delve into because her character gets into a lot of intricacy regarding her
Right.
relationship with her husband and everything. I won't lie to you, I've got a lot of scenes cut from that film, a little bit more than what we saw at the end result, but that's okay. It's what
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
Um, but no, yeah, I think that that was kind of it's a movie that deals on kind of a taboo subject. So for me,
Hmm.
it was kind of honestly a really exciting project because I did kind of really want to work towards getting into more mature content. Like, yes, I know I have a bit of a baby face, or I
Hmm.
do. So that works in my favor for younger roles. But I
Right.
think as I grow up, I do experience different things, new things that do kind of
True.
put you into a more adult world.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the first time where I was actually able to like kind of talk about it in a way that wasn't like weird or off-putting or just wasn't of appropriate timing. Like the whole film was regarding around a topic in which happens to a lot of people, you
People.
know,
Yeah.
a lot of things happen in a relationship and it's
True.
rocky, it's smooth, it's a roller coaster. And so I think it's important for us to touch on these subjects of how intricate and how challenging marriages are, you know?
Hmm.
So for me, I was able to really like get into that mindset of like, you know, this is a character, my character, who was dealing with a lot of more internal emotions regarding fitting in and feeling a part and a place or a space, as you said, to really be my authentic self.
Yeah.
And I think that the film was a really great way for me, or just like the plot was a really great way for me to kind of touch on some insecurities that I still had in my own personal life of feeling
Interesting.
always fit in. I didn't actually really find, I guess, my space, I would say, in my as Eden until I went to
Mhm.
my art high school and I found my other artsy fartsy friends that I'm friends with and I love to death. But that was like my first time actually really initiating myself into a place where I 100% didn't always kind of want to hide a bit of myself or I
Interesting.
guess maybe like reel back on some things that I found really interesting or really enjoyed. And so when I played that role in The End of Sex, it was kind of like, I guess, closing a chapter because I played
Mm.
a high school kid in that and I was actually out of high school at
High
the time
school.
and I
Yeah.
was kind of leaving behind all of that. Okay, we no
That's
longer
very
care.
interesting.
Yeah, I no longer care
Very.
about what the girls in the corner are chuckling about, or if they don't like my drawing, or if they don't think I do my makeup well. Like all of that just kind of like was in the moment while I was acting it out. I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of lived through all of this in high school, but I no
Wow.
longer have these people in my life.
People. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'm moving on up.
That's yeah, that's pretty interesting and actually awesome. Like, so things happen, there's a season and a reason for everything.
Mhm,
And that really gave you just sound like it gave you the energy to really draw from, something that you basically like you said, you just experienced and went through.
mhm,
So to able to draw from something so recent, and that's where the realness, and that's what I said, like a lot of your work, that's how you show up on screen, like there's just this realness about you that you bring to the character. But I also understand, Eden, that you're also working behind the scenes, from what I understand, and you've been an assistant on a short film. uh
yes.
so yeah, so how is that, like, has that, doing that, has that influenced you to want to approach maybe your acting different, or do you see yourself maybe moving to that side in the future more? Like, what has that done for you, looking forward?
Absolutely. Honestly, I always say actually to most people who are kind of inquiring about my journey in the future, I'm okay with solidifying my foot in acting for like the next 15 years because I feel as though I need to go out and live a little bit more of my life in order to feel like I have a story that's worthwhile telling to
Mm,
me.
hmm.
But I have a really huge love and appreciation for writing. I took like 4 or 5 writing courses while I was in university in a whole bunch of different genres: comedy, drama, creative, poetry. And I have a really deep love for writing. I do have a very deep love for cinematography too. Am I the best at camera equipment? No, I don't know how to use those, but I love them, and I get freaked out when I see a nice camera, but I wouldn't touch one. But I do. I think I would say going behind the camera has helped me a lot. I've been able to kind of pick up so many different things that go into being in front of the camera. I've let go of the vanity that comes around
Really?
wanting. Yeah, I think that as I was younger, I kind of, like most girls, I had a very, tough time approaching how I wanted to look on camera and how I
Right.
wanted to be represented. And, like, especially as a colored individual, as a Black woman, I
Right.
really wanted to make sure that, they didn't have me out here looking crazy.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It's a possibility, but I really let go of that because I work towards now in my acting being an honest individual, and I know that being honest comes with not being very beautiful 100% of the time. A lot of the
Very
time,
true. Very
being a
true.
human being, yeah, is a
Yeah.
really, really tough job.
It is a tough job. Yeah.
Yeah, I've come to really appreciate the toughness
Yeah.
of it though, and I've really come to appreciate knowing that I don't have to be okay all the time, which has
Mm.
allowed me to break walls down of wanting to come across as okay all the time. I've let go of a lot of perfectionism. I have a lot of perfectionist tendencies of wanting to get the line out correct or say it in a certain tone that is exactly how I practiced in my head. I've let walls down that have kind of boxed me into not being able to be more, I guess, fluid with my acting and just, like, kind of lean into different interpretations of the scene. I don't like to
Mm.
get too caught up in certain ways of performing to where I
Mhm.
can't, like, break out of it if I'm directed to do something different.
I
And I
see.
think that being behind the camera has definitely showed me how to just let go of it all, and how there's so much more that is
That's
honestly
right.
more than having to make
Listen.
sure that I look good 100% of the time. And I don't want to look good 100% of the time. That doesn't feel real to me. I
Yeah.
think that people want to see the nitty-gritty rawness of the human experience,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yep.
dedicated to performing in that manner. So, yeah.
Listen. Listen, ladies. Now, this is what I'll tell you. Like this right here, like why I was excited. Like you can't make this stuff up. And we as fans, we see the glitz and the glamour, like you said, and the perfection. But these are the like well, I'm just so honored to be able to have these real conversations because not to be more than anything but really clear and transparent, it really matches you. Like your energy and like, it really matches you. And it's just a pleasure just to have that openness because I know sometimes
Mhm.
when you're dealing with artists, and I understand you're a brand and everything,
Mhm.
sometimes they don't want to go that deep or allow themselves to go that deep. So
Right.
Eden, I really appreciate you just being as full and transparent, because that's the beauty, that's the
Mhm.
energy that I
Thank
really see and I get from you. And I mean, if you could see the hairs on my arm and stuff, just standing up right now, it's crazy.
thank
Um,
you. I
yeah,
appreciate
thank you. Yes. But I do want to ask you because you mentioned like the entertainment industry today. You've been in it from a little bit younger now, and you're
it.
maturing, and you're getting older. Um, and your resume, you're building an impressive resume. But what do you see maybe as being the biggest challenge
Mhm.
or opportunities that may be emerging for talent like yourself in today's entertainment industry, especially like, and I hate to say it, with the rise of these streaming platforms such as mine,
Mhm.
but then you have that negative side where unfortunately we see this whole thing, in entertainment with the Diddy case and Smokey Robinson. So, like, what are those challenges and opportunities that you see, and how do you straddle and make sure you keep yourself insulated from some of this craziness?
I think that for me, again, I just look for real stories.
Mm,
I think that a lot of the time, well, recently in the last couple of years, entertainment has kind of taken a real, like, beeline towards just, I guess, the most dramatic storytelling,
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like, how can we kind of build on something that might not seem that big, but we can make it a catastrophic event to the point where millions of people will want to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to be a part of those things. I think I've learned as I've grown up that I really actually, I love a small set. I love an independent film. I love an independent crew. Like, honestly, all of it, just one, for me, I can make better relationships on smaller sets.
Mhm.
And I just feel like you connect more with the people. Everybody is just
100%.
honestly coming together to want to make something great rather than
Right.
just make something that produces a hell of a lot of funds.
Yeah, right.
But I would say one of the biggest challenges right now that I've been experiencing, and maybe others have in the industry, is just looking for a story that gets you like excited, like something
Mm.
makes you go, wow, I want to be a part of this. I think that I could really bring something to this project that would elevate it in some way, or just like maybe give them something that they weren't necessarily looking for. And
Yeah.
honestly, just jumping at opportunities, I don't think comes as common anymore.
Mhm.
I would say, and I'm not knocking on anything like a prequel or a sequel or anything like that, or just like a redos of all those things. I think that there's definitely places, especially for new generations, to be introduced to, older
Yeah.
stories and things like that. But I think that there's just so much more underneath the surface and underneath in humans that we can really tap into. And so, yeah, I think I kind of struggle with finding stories and scripts that make me feel like I can like really pour myself into it, because I look to pour myself into my
Mm.
role. It's like a very soul fiery, like honestly, if I could just like flat out be
Yeah.
simple about it, acting makes me feel like it sets my soul on fire. It's such a passion
Mm.
for me. And I can definitely say that sometimes certain aspects of the industry can kind of pull the passion out of you.
Yeah.
But for me, something that has always kept the flame under the ignition is just like dedicating my time and my abilities to things that I think people really want to see, or I think people really need to hear.
Ooh.
Stories, you know,
Yeah.
don't necessarily get the light they deserve. And I don't really care if they get on the high
Hey.
services or things like that, but just stories that I think if anybody sees it, I'm so grateful to have been a part of it. So I look for stories like that.
Listen, I couldn't have. We're at the end of this conversation, but I couldn't have asked for a better ending. I mean, you're truly amazing. May you remain sweet and humble, and may you continue to receive your blessings. But before we go, Aiden, I want to allow you to take a moment. And ladies and gentlemen, get behind this young woman, man. She's really incredible. Share your social media. I want our audience to be able to go ahead and get out there and get behind you and all your amazing work.
I mean, you can find me on Instagram at just Eden Cupid. I don't have, yep, there it is on the screen. I don't have any other form of social media. I'm pretty kind of flippant with social media. I don't really love being on it, but that is where you will find me. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I need to be better at promoting my things. I really do. I need to get on there and do that.
Well, she said well, go out and find her. Like, literally, like, she's truly a blessing. Thank you so much, Eden, for joining us tonight. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I have
Of
absolutely pleasure.
You part of the family now, so you can always come back. You can come back whenever you want. New project, whatever you want to talk about, you are always welcome to come back here. Or you got to just reach out and we got you. Not a problem.
I would be so happy to, Damon. Thank you so much again. I'm so pleased to have been a part of tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of yours.
Well, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another great episode. I am your humble host, Damon Cunningham. This is Two Mics Up, Season 8 rolling along on my all new streaming channel, Infusion TV. You can download the free Mogul TV Global app on your Amazon or Roku TV device and watch Infusion TV. Well, we're up to 7 new shows, and you can watch the entire network on the Mogul TV network. We are the #1 network for positive programming. We're now in 47 countries, 100 million viewable subscribers on your Amazon or Roku TV device. And I thank you all for joining me each and every Monday night and allowing us to sit down with such amazing guests as Eden Cupid and so much more. Make sure you follow us online, Two Mics Up, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Two Mics Up. And like we do at the end of each and every show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. May you all stay safe, Stay blessed. Mike's out.
007.